Hello everyone and welcome to DC Central, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down and reviewing Legends of Tomorrow Season 4 Episode 12, otherwise entitled Sense and Sensibility. And if you have not seen this episode, make sure you do so before proceeding with this review, as it will be filled with spoilers. So up top, I'd like to apologise for my lack of a review for Legends of Tomorrow Season 4 Episode 11. Quite frankly, I had just had enough of Legends and I did not want to review it. I didn't want to talk about it. It got to the point where I was just so sick of it. I didn't want to, because I'm not a negative person. I've said this before. I don't like to inflict negativity on this channel, and I just didn't want to do a just massive rant video again like I did with episode 10. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to take a week off from Legends and not review it. But I am going to review this one, so let's get into it. Well, this episode was certainly something. We saw this episode kind of coming in the trailer where we had this big Bollywood thing, and it's just a load of crap. This episode, once again, is proving why Legends is just a massive misstep this season. Yeah, this episode wasn't great. It wasn't as bad. It was probably the best episode of the season since it's come back. But that's not a competition. Like, that doesn't take a lot to do. I'll start off with the part of the episode I did like, though. We did have Nate at Hank's funeral. I didn't mind this stuff. This was okay. Nate trying to basically come up with a nice speech for his dad, but he just hates his dad at this point, so he's struggling to do that. And you had Mick there, Constantine there, and basically Hank's spirit was coming back from the dead to kind of like, haunt Nate, and you had Constantine trying to deal with that. Also Constantine trying to deal with Neron, who's kind of showing himself to him for the first time in the form of Desmond. So all this stuff was fine. I thought this was okay. I have to say, Nick Zano did a brilliant performance in this episode when he's talking to his dad over the corpse. I thought that was a great scene, really emotional, and you could see, because what I really like about these scenes is when you require an actor to cry on camera, is if the camera doesn't cut and you actually get to see them cry, like, physically, and Nick Zano did that, so he did that very, very well. And also there's a great little moment as well where basically the Legends need to go off to go and deal with this thing, and Sarah kisses Nate on the cheek and walks off, and then Ray kisses him on the cheek as well. Like, that's just a really funny little moment that I enjoyed. And I found out today as well is that Nick Zano and Brandon Routh actually improvised that, so that was very good. I did enjoy that, to be fair. So all the stuff at the funeral, I didn't mind. I thought all the stuff was fine. And they are further pushing the Nate and Zari relationship, which, again, as I said in my review for episode 10, I don't hate it. It's not like the worst idea. It's just kind of come out of nowhere. It just kind of feels like it's just, just this thing that's just popped up, and because they feel like they need a new relationship on the show now that Sarah and Ava are done, they need someone else. So it's like, oh, Nick and Zari, or Nate and Zari, so let's put them together. It's a bit of a strange one, but they do really push it in this episode, like, big time. They really push it, so I feel like we are going to get there by the end of the season. We are going to see this relationship form, and then we're going to see it continue into season 5. I really think that is going to happen. So the rest of the Legends, they go off to deal with this thing with Jane Austen. Basically, it gets to the point where Jane Austen isn't writing anymore, and Mona is a huge fan of her, so they need to fix it. But the Jane Austen thing gets completely blown out of the water. Like, I mean, it starts off as a focus, but it really isn't. Like, about halfway through the episode, it just gets dropped. At least, like, as far as I can remember, it just gets dropped. So, it's not even worth talking about because it doesn't even get resolved, so it's fine. It's just this thing that kind of happens and it kind of gets a resolution, but it's not what the episode wants to be about. So it kind of needed a reason to go to this time period, so that's what it is. But it doesn't really focus on it after they get there. So what this really wanted to focus on was the Indian god of love, or the Hindu god of love, who shows up and seduces Zari and has this magical dust that, when blown in people's faces, gives them visions of their most intent and sexual desires. This is where the episode got weird and uncomfortable, because I don't think I've been more uncomfortable watching an episode of the Arrowverse in my life. There is a three-way scene between Zari, this Hindu love god, and Nate, and it's so weird and random and out of place, and it's just crazy to watch. Like, I can't believe this is on Legends of Tomorrow. Like, I'm watching this thinking, how is this in the Arrowverse? Like, how is this Legends of Tomorrow? How is this a superhero show? Like, this is crazy. I'm watching like a three-way orgy between, 3 characters on this show. Why do I need this on the screen? I don't. Like, it was pretty, like, I mean, it's pretty tame in comparison to, like, to what I'm making it out to be. But for Legends of Tomorrow, for an 8 p.m. time slot show, this was pretty rough. Like, this was pretty, you know, I didn't expect it at all. And then you also have, like, the scene between Ray and Nora, where, you know, they're also trying to, like, get it on, and it's just, like, it's just weird. Like, it's just uncomfortable. Like, nobody wants to see, nobody asked for this in Legends of Tomorrow, and it's just happening, and it feels like fan fiction, and it's the, like, they just, like, wrote all these things where it's just like, oh yeah, fans will love this, let's put it in. But, like, I don't understand what the writers are thinking that the audience wants. Like, we don't want loads of, you know, romantic sex scenes. It's just not necessary in Legends of Tomorrow, but we've got it, apparently. And then this just evolved into turning into a musical, where we have this big Bollywood sequence, which, granted, production design was great. It was a very well put together scene, but was it necessary? Not remotely. I mean, Tala Ashe did a great job singing. I mean, we all know she can sing. She comes from the musical show Smash, and we all know she can sing. And she was a wonderful singer, really good. I'd love to see her, if they ever do another, like, musical crossover episode, you know, get her in that. But, again, just not necessary. Like, it was so overblown, so pointless, and so ridiculous. And I didn't need it in my life. I didn't need it in Legends of Tomorrow, but they continue to do it for some reason. I'd said I wasn't going to do another rant video, but look at that, it's already happened. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm struggling with Legends at this point. I'm really struggling. I know I said that a couple weeks ago, but I'm really struggling now. This just isn't Legends of Tomorrow anymore. This isn't the show that we had last season. This has just evolved into something else that the writers, I guess, thought they could get away with giving us. I mean, I don't know where they're coming from with this. Like, I get the fact that they were like, okay, let's give them more humor because they really like the humor. But the thing is, the humor in Season 3 works so well because it stemmed from the story. This season, they're just so heavily pushing writing the story around jokes, like writing jokes first and then write the story around it, that the story is just non-existent. Like I say, the Jane Austen thing, which is supposed to be the crux of the episode, is completely non-existent about halfway through. And from what I can remember, it's really not picked up again. Like, you have like a little scene at the end with Mona when she turns into a werewolf and blah blah blah. But outside of that, it really serves no purpose. And like I say, that would not have been the case in Season 3. So this season, I'm really struggling. Like, I don't know what to do. I mean, we've got 4 episodes left of this season, and I really don't see any signs of improvement. Like I say, this was supposed to be... I was really looking forward to this season. I was really looking forward to it because I love Season 3 so much. I even love Season 2, and I'm even one of the people who like Season 1 a lot. And this is just like, when you look at like that show and you look at this show, they're completely different. They're completely different shows. This isn't a superhero show anymore. And it's crazy because all the characters are just caricatures of the characters they once were. Like, when you look at like Sarah, if you look at Sarah in this episode, and then Sarah was on Arrow this week, and you look at her on Arrow, they're completely different characters. Like, I said this in my Arrow review, but they are completely different characters. Sarah on Legends, Sarah on Arrow, they might as well be played by different actresses. Like, they're completely different. It blows my mind, like, how far Sarah has, you know, changed at this point. It's ridiculous. So yeah, not a great episode, and just another bummer for the season. And I'm just not looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm honestly not. So thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. It'll help me out a lot. And share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV and get them to join the community. And as always, guys, please subscribe for all of your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Arrow. And with all that said, guys, I hope to see you again in my next video.